right now, so laying down on your back with your knees bent. Thank you for joining us today. So when I take you through this 45-minute Pilates class, I'm going to give you options to either take it easier or to make it harder. So the first move we'll do laying on our back is setting up what we call our neutral spine. So place the heel of your hand on your hip bones, your fingertips on your pubic bone, and check that that's level. So when I say level, it means the pubic bone is not higher than the hip bones. So once you've got that sensation of that level pelvis, take a breath in through your nose and then a long breath out through your mouth. And as you're breathing out through the mouth, imagine you're drawing a belly button towards your spine. So this is not anything moving right now. It's just establishing those deep tummy muscles underneath your hands there. So our first move is a pelvic curl to a bridge. So on the next exhale, you will start to tip the pelvis towards you. You can either keep your hands on your pelvis or place them on the ground. Now, once you tip the pelvis towards you, your lower back touches the ground and then you peel your spine up off the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae, into our bridge position. So only come to the height where your hips are lifted but your tips of your shoulder blades are on the mat. Take a breath in here and exhale as you roll your upper back down, the lower back, and then the tailbone. We're just moving slowly through these next 4 as we warm the spine up. So again, tip the hips. Do as much of an imprint and a curl before you pick your hips up. So you're peeling your spine up off the mat vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale at the top. Exhale. When I lower, my hips stay up and I lower my chest down, the back of my ribs, and then the lower back and the tailbone. So that helps you to get that articulation. We'll do 2 more. Exhale to curl. Hope the spine's feeling good this morning, everybody. It looks good from here. Just something I wanted to mention. If you have your mat side onto the screen, you'll be able to see me without lifting up your head to see me, because I can see a lot of your feet and knees, but I don't have a great view of you on your side. So you might want to make that adjustment. In Pilates, having that side view helps in order to do a lot of these moves laying on your back. So everybody on this next one, keep your hips lifted. Now, just lifting your right heel up off the ground and pressing it back down, and then your left heel. Your toes stay down. So I'm walking through my feet. As I lift my right heel and then my left heel, my hips don't move. So it's this articulation through your ankles, the alignment of your knees and hips. So as you're moving your feet side to side, it's like you're walking through your feet, hips. I can see some hips sort of wanting to lift. Try and isolate it to a lift of your heel, not your hip. Do 1 more on each side. If you find this is causing any tightness or crampy sensation in your hamstrings, bring your feet in closer. Now lift both heels up so you're on your tippy toes. Bring your heels so they touch and your knees out so you're in a V. And from this position here, with your heels squeezing together, roll your upper back down, your lower back, your tailbone, and then your heels touch the ground. So we're going to curl up in that V position. So heels down, tip the hips and curl yourself up. With your knees a little wider, try and squeeze and activate through the back of your legs a bit more. You lift both heels and lower both heels. So same as before, but you're in a V and you're lifting both heels. As you lift your heels, the pelvis stays lifted and still. So you might want to put your fingertips on your hips, isolate this movement to your ankles. That's better, everybody. Well done. Just do 2 more. So we're waking up all those great muscles of the backside and the hamstrings that we're going to work today. Make this the last, but this time with your heels lifted, lower your spine back down. Exhale to breathe and lower, Fantastic. And then roll it away. Well done. So let's stretch the back of your hamstrings out. Left leg on the mat, right leg in the air, and just gently pulling that leg towards you. So when you're taking this stretch here, if you have a band or a strap that you would rather hook around your foot to hang on to, you can use it. If not, you're just gently pulling in. Now try not to take that leg to the side or too high where you hit your hips. So this leg stretch comes into the next move, which is a leg circle. So you can use the strap if you prefer to hold your leg. Otherwise, everybody just square your hips off, place your hands on the ground, and imagine you're drawing 5 circles on the ceiling in each direction. So it's not a big movement. Point your toe, slightly roll your thigh out if you find you're gripping in the front of your thigh. Pause there and change direction. So go out, down, and around. Now, as you go out, just be mindful of not letting your pelvis roll with your leg. Sometimes placing your opposite hand on your opposite hip is a good reference point there. All right, hold it at the top, flex through your ankle and lower the right leg down to pick the left leg up. Fantastic, that looks great. So first of all, taking that hamstring stretch, point the toe, adjust your left hip so it's not hitched with that stretch. Breathing out to just soften through your neck and shoulders. So we'll do the same 5 circles in each direction. Everybody, can you anchor the leg on the ground a little more? So press the leg on the ground into the ground, and we're doing 5 circles in each direction. Good. So start to think about the movement of your leg coming from your center. So as I circle my leg, I'm really actively moving from the core muscles here. So pause and change direction. So it's not hanging out in that flexibility of the leg, it's that stability of the pelvis as you circle your leg in that hip socket. So when you finish this one, you're gonna flex your foot, bend your left knee, but keep your knee in the air. Now, tucking your chin in and curling yourself up to that bent leg, placing your right hand on top of the left knee, placing your left hand down towards your left ankle. So in this position, try and keep the height of your chest, but if it's too much, put a cushion under your head or rest your head down. So the right leg stays straight, but you pick it up off the ground. If having it low is too hard, pick it up higher, and we're going to switch the legs. So we switch and we switch the hands. This is a traditional Pilates move called single leg stretch. As you're going side to side, so what I can see, everybody, is a few of you are actually, I'll exaggerate it, you're bringing your foot to the center. So that bent leg, the foot stays in line with your knee. This exercise is about that alignment of your foot, knee, and hip. So have a look at what your feet are doing, especially on the bent leg. Good. Now, after this last one, pull both knees in and roll up in a little ball. You'll shoot your arms and legs away from the center. Circle the arms around and pull the knees back in. If you need support under your neck, you can hold behind your head when you do this. Otherwise, taking the arms overhead but not lowering the height of the head is the goal here. So you'll notice I'm aiming a little higher with my legs. So if you wanted to challenge yourself and go lower, it does require you to be able to hold straight legs low but not pop out through your tummy. So definitely take the legs higher if that is enough for you. So don't lose your form with your connection of your tummy there. So do one more of these. And then everybody hold your knees bent and place your hands behind your head. Now, feet can be up in tabletop position, or you can take your feet to the ground. And we're going to come into our twist. So my right shoulder comes towards my left knee. Come back to the center and change. So feet down is definitely a good little break there for this move. But if you want to keep feet up in tabletop, good. Karen, you said you'd like a bit of a challenge. So there it is. That's your third abdominal exercise there in that series. So breathing out, take the break between each move if you need to. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to the 4th out of the 5th here. Squeeze your thighs together. Keep your head lifted. Now lower both legs just halfway and then pick both legs back up. So your option here is to take a single leg, or to make it harder, you would take both legs straight. So that's your 3 levels there. I'll always sort of start with the middle one. So tabletop, lowering halfway, breathing out. So the principal method here is where you decide where you're going to be is determined by, can you maintain neutral pelvis? So that means not pressing your back to the ground or not overarching your back. All right, your final move in this AB5 series is with straight leg scissoring. So reach up towards your left ankle or knee, lower your right leg down. Now hold that for me there. You pulse the top leg twice, scissor and change. So it's pulse, pulse, scissor, change. Pulse, pulse, scissor, change. Now just watch, when you're pulling your leg in, don't bend your knee. So try and keep your leg as straight as possible. The toes are pointed like a pair of scissors. You're slicing through the air. You've got 2 more. Out breath as you pull the leg in. Inhale as you switch. 1 more each side. And last one. And hug your knees in. Oh, well done, everybody. Just hug the knees and gently turn your head side to side. So big tick for that AB5 series. That's an awesome series, and I might even do a little video later on just those 5 exercises, and then that's a good one to revise your AB5, yeah? So you can work towards achieving those 5 exercises and building up the endurance to do them one after the other. All right, now, tucking your chin in, we're going to roll up in a little ball. So, and then when you come up, can you balance at the top with your feet up? All right, so hold this position. Everybody try and bring your feet in a little more. So the tighter you are in your little bubble, the harder it is. All right, so pull the tummy in and roll back. And then come up to the top and pause. Good. So do 3 more like that. Denise, is it all right to turn the heater off? That's rare that I would say that. Very rare. We're warming up today in Pilates, everybody. Good. They look fantastic. Good. The less you can flip your feet up, the more it will be coming from your center. I can see a few of you taking your warmer tops off. That's a good sign. Okay, so on this last one here, you're going to stay at the top and place your feet on the ground. So I'm just adjusting myself now to find my sit bones. So sit up on your sit bones and place your feet flat on the mat. Arms come out in front of you. So this is not a big movement, and it's not coming from my upper back. It's my lower abdominals starting to pull back. So it's not a big movement, everybody. So just roll back a small way. Take a breath in there and then pull the tummy in and roll yourself back up. When I get to here, then I find length in the spine. Exhale, pull the tummy and roll back. Soften the shoulders there. Take a breath in here. Breathe out through the mouth. Deepen the curl. So this is the important bit here. So when you curl forward there, I'm still in a C curve, so I haven't come up and done that yet. So breathe out, curl back. Curl, curl. Good. Now pause there. Take a breath in. Come back, but deepen the curl. So I'm trying to bring my shoulders over my hips, but pull my tummy back in. That was much better. Well done. Good. 3 more. Breathing out. Hold it here. Inhale. Pulling back in. This is one of my favorite ways to work the C curve and the deep tummy muscles with no neck strain. So it's a really great, simple exercise. You can make it harder by putting the hands behind your head, or you could also make it easier by assisting by holding the back of your thighs. We'll make this the last. So from there, with your arms in what I call genie arms, so you're going to rotate towards the screen and then exhale, come back to center. So as you rotate away from the screen, you can come back to the center just to kind of restack there each time, or you can stay back. So just a few things to check with this rotation. Knees don't move, so they stay still. But probably more importantly, I'm seeing a lot of kind of shoulders and elbows move. What's happening here, it's the spine that's twisting. So it might not be a big movement, but try and get the rotation at the spine, because we're working through your obliques to feel the work through the waist. So after you've done one more to each side, then tuck and lift up. Fantastic, good. Straightening your legs. So flex at your ankles if you can, and lift your arms up in front of you. So we've done a round back and a twist, and this is a flat back. So imagine you've got a rod from the top of your head to your tailbone. So when you hinge back like this, it's not a big movement, but you're hinging back up. So it's like the opposite to the C curve. So everybody look to where the ceiling meets the wall and breathe out and hinge back. This is one I often notice a lot of people sort of get that deep shaking, which is always a good sign for me to see you're working deeply. Don't make the move too big. That looks so good, everybody. That's fantastic. Take your eyes up. So eyes up, good, and then up. Are you feeling this exercise? Yep, good. Good. Hold, and then coming up. Fantastic. So let's take it further. If you want to put something under your lower back to help you come up, this is what I would recommend here, your towel or a pillow under your lower back. Otherwise, let's try and do this together. So get the hinge first. Now I change from a hinge to a C curve and roll all the way back. Take my arms overhead. Now, squeeze your thighs together, everybody. Really use your whole body to come up. So squeeze your thighs, tuck your chin in, curl like a wave. See, I keep curling. Don't straighten. Keep curling, keep curling, keep curling. Good. Don't straighten yet, everybody. Keep curling like a wave. Head towards the knees. And then I unfold and suck my spine back up to the start. So then we'll do that again. So straight spine first. Before we start, can you sit taller? So sit up like a string from the ceiling. That's better. So hinge. Now change to the C curve. Scoop. Beautiful. Down. If you're having trouble coming up, a cushion under your lower back will get you there. We're rounding and peeling. We're not hinging. Keep peeling up and over. Don't straighten. Keep coming over like a wave. Head to the knees like a wave. Beautiful. Now, roll your spine, stack it up, vertebrae by vertebrae, back to that start position. We'll go a little quicker for the next 4. So we hinge and roll. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, that's the hardest part. That's where you need the exhale. Deepen your C curve, up and over, head towards the knees, and then roll yourself back up and reset. That looks fantastic. Lift your chest, hinge, and roll. And inhale, big exaggerated exhale. Up and over. Good. How good does that feel? It's a great abdominal exercise. Last one, hinge and roll. Over, come up. Exhale, up and over. Good. And then stack your spine up. With a stacked spine, separate your feet only mat distance. Refine those sit bones. Sit on a block if you need to. And if your hamstrings are really screaming there, bend your knees. So we're going to peel forward, pull the tummy in, and up and over like that wave that we just did. But this time we stay forward. We've experimented with a round and straight spine. Keep your hinge forward, but lift your chest so you go to a straight spine. and then lift your arms. So from your fingertips to your sit bone, but you're pressing the breastbone forward. Go back to the wave. So up and over, and then roll yourself up to straight. Beautiful. So really playing around with those lovely flexion and extension movements of the spine. So you're flexing and rounding forward. Now you're lifting your chest and your eyes and arms and straightening. Now this is your hinge. So this is where you can poke your bottom out and hinge forward. Then you go into a round, so dive forward and then round yourself back up. Just do one more of those. Grow tall. If you can elongate your spine, you'll get more range. Breathing out, roll forward. Lengthen from the fingertips to right out through your feet. So find that connection of the back line. Dive forward. Roll yourself up. Great. Good. Arms wide. So now we rotate the spine. So rotate towards me. Breathing out, we're going to saw the little toe off, or wherever you can get to on the legs. Saw forward 3 times, back, and saw further 2, and last one, and then stack your spine back up, rotate to the center and then away from me. So everybody, try and move less through your hips. So when you move, anchor your pelvis down. I'm not ever concerned about how far you can reach. It's keeping a little bit more control and stability. We'll do one more in each direction. Pause there for me when you come to me. I just want to show you something. So when you go forward, instead of just flopping forward, think about scooping up and over. Pull back through here. Up and over, go deeper. Your third saw is it. So it's like you saw off the best you can, up, center, last one away from me. So always looking for the quality, not the quantity. I don't mind if you need to stop and have a break. Even if you just do one on each side, that's fantastic. Okay, everybody turn towards me. So we're going to sit in our mermaid position. If that's difficult for you with your knees or hips, you can sit with straight legs, or put your towel or cushion underneath your hip to square your pelvis off. Arms are wide. Good. Drop the shoulders down. So let's go to the feet side first. So lift up and take a nice stretch over toward your feet. Good. Fantastic. Everybody loves a side stretch. And then inhale up. Exhale to the other side. So when I come over, soften the elbow, but don't lift the hip up. Soften down and go over. Good. So come up, breathe out, reach up and over, take your rib away from your hip. Inhale up. Now this time I'm adding in a rotation. So I'm going to scoop and come under and rotate. So pressing. So some of you have lifted your hips off the ground. Can you pull your opposite hip back down to the ground and now do that movement? That's better. Good. Fantastic. And then come out of that move. Now from here, we're going to come onto our elbow and straighten the legs away from you. Now being up on the elbow is a harder option. So if you prefer to lie flat, that's a fantastic option too. Both feet come slightly forward, and when you lift your top leg, it's a pointed toe. So think about length, not height. We're going to do little circles with just the top leg. Little circles. So in this position, if you're up, can some of you try and lift up a little more through your ribs? Stack both shoulders on top of one another. Change direction with the circle. So like I taught you when we're lying on the back with leg circles, it's the hip disassociation. So the thigh bone in the hip socket circling, not the hip hitching up. All right, hold your legs straight. Now flex at your ankle, bend your bottom leg. So that's going to give me a little bit more support so I can get a bit more range. Now, when I bring my leg forward, watch where I've got my hand on my hip here. I'm bringing my leg forward, but I'm sort of pulling my hip away from my heel to stop me from rounding my back. When I go back, have a look here, I go back and I'm trying not to lean forward. So reach the leg, but keep the body in the same position. So kick forward. So kick back. Well done. You can make this move smaller if you're moving the body around. Bring your head back so your eyes and your head is in line with your spine. You're looking forward and lifting up and away from the ground. Good. Kick forward. So this is one of those moves where check in. Are you working from your glutes, the back side, or are you gripping with your thighs? So there's all these little adjustments where it's much more effective to know where you should be feeling the movement. Sometimes slightly rolling out the thigh a bit more helps to find the right moves. All right, with the top leg staying straight, lower everybody down onto the ground and lift your bottom leg up to your top leg and squeeze your thighs together. This is where having a cushion under your hip helps also. Lifting both legs up and then both legs down. So you might find you can't lift as high without hitching your hip. So it's really that length that I'm looking for. And lifting up underneath your waist. Can some of you still see your toes? So if those legs are getting behind you, just shift them in front a little more. Good. This one is probably more about working your obliques, so under your waist rather than just the hips. So on the next one, hold both hips up for me. See if you can roll onto your tummy, but keep your legs lifted. Roll onto your tummy, and from here, make a little diamond and rest your head in the diamond, but keeping your thigh bones long and your knees lifted. We're going to beat the heels in and out together. So squeeze inner thigh, inner thigh, inner thigh. Tap, tap, tap. Turn the thighs out a little more. That looks fantastic. Good. And 10 more quick ones. 10, 9, 8. Good. Roll the thighs out. 5, 4. Relax your shoulders, everybody. Good. And now resting your legs down. So keeping your legs down from that diamond shape, you're going to lift your breastbone up. Don't come too high. You've got a little blueberry under your belly button. Just look to the front of the mat. Now pressing into the elbows. Some of you could drop down a little lower. You want to maintain that lift of the belly button and the eyes in line with your spine, and then lower it back down. Your option with the diamond press is to have both legs lift at the same time, or you can keep your legs down. Something that you've to make the decision that's best for you is always determined by, am I now dropping my pelvis forward and losing that connection of my abdominals being lifted? So if lifting your legs means that you're just working in your lower back, this movement is about your upper back. So breathing out, hold your upper back lifted. So from here, see if you can now, some of you, I think you're better off to have your feet down. So I'm going to put my feet down. Now I'm going to bring the weight of my hands up to connect there. If you prefer to keep them down, that's okay. And I'm just doing lifting with the upper back and lowering, just hovering and lifting and lowering. So try and feel the muscles of the upper back. Rest your forehead on your hands so it's no tension in your neck. Good, that looks fantastic. So it's just the weight of your upper body that you're using to strengthen your upper back. Try not to do this from your lower back. Good, just do 2 more like this. And then from there, rest your forehead down, bring your hands down by your side with your palms up. We're going to do hundreds in the back extension position today. The more work we can do behind our body, the better. So from here, lift yourself up in a dart with your palms up. You've got the option of thighs lifting and squeezing too. We breathe in as we beat the arms up for 5, and then breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not going to do the whole 100 like this. It's the 100's breath, which is breath in for 5 beats and then breath out for the same 5 beats. So in, good, fantastic. Now actively think about the back of your arms, your triceps. Looks fantastic, and you've all got a great height there, not too high. Good. Let's do 20 more like this. Lift the tummy a little more. That looks great. Really good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down. All right, pushing yourself up, and let's stretch the lower back out in a cat stretch. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees under hips. So go for the lumbar, the lower back first. Lift your tummy up, tuck your tailbone under, and stretch through that lower back before you go into your upper back. And then reverse it. So lift your tailbone, the breastbone pulls through, and you look up. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift your tummy, look down, and round through the lower back. So we're going to flip our legs around to the other side of mermaid and do that same side series that we did so that we're even. When you go from side to side, just notice if one side might sit more hitched or not. That looks pretty good to me, everybody. Arms out wide. So find the length through the spine. We'll go to the feet side first. Up and over. Good. And then inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now this time where your feet aren't, we'll take that rotation. Remember, press your hip back onto the ground when you rotate, looking underneath. We'll transition from here onto the elbow facing me and do our side work. You can lay all the way down if you prefer that. So feet just slightly forward, top leg is lifted, toes pointed, and we're doing our little circles. Good. So some of you maybe bring your elbow in under you more and just check, are my ribs kind of down like this? So lift your ribs up. Think of all the shoulder work that's happening here. Change direction with your circles. Good. Well done. Circle up and around. Good. And 2 and 1. Bend your bottom leg. Now kick forward. That's the foot flexing. And I reach out through my heel, point, and reach back. Fantastic. Good. Kick forward and back. Back. Good. Good. Are you feeling it through the glutes yet? Yes? Good. Thanks, Tan. Do 2 more. Try not to move the shoulders, everybody. And then we align that foot and straighten the bottom leg. Lay down. Lift the bottom leg up to the top leg. Feet slightly in front of you. And we'll do 8 double leg lifts. So let's flex the ankles to do this. And imagine it's like you're standing on your feet. So push the legs away from you to get the lift. So if you're kind of feeling like you're wobbling, everybody, maybe bring the hands, the top hand to the ground. And remember the feet are slightly in front of you there. Just do 2 more. Good. Hold the last one up, everybody. Hold it there. Great. All right, so from there, you're going to lower your feet down and roll onto your back. I'm going to take a glute stretch there. So when you're on your back, place your right foot on your left knee and then bring the thigh bone in. So that left thigh bone in. Make sure your hips are square for this movement and hopefully your head and shoulders are relaxed on the ground. So breathe in, just close the eyes for a moment. And breathe out and see if you can gently pull the thigh bone in or maybe push the knee away from you. Good. And now changing sides. Does one side feel different to the other? Maybe the knee is closer on the other side or further away, and maybe see if you can just push the left knee away from you as you pull your right thigh bone in. From here, bringing both knees together and taking both arms wide. So back in that tabletop position, when we do our twist here, we're working through the waist, so don't collapse into this stretch. It's a small movement towards the screen where your feet and knees stay together, ribs stay down, and then pull the knees back to the center. So as you move the legs together from side to side, think about your shoulders and the back of your arms pressing into the ground, and the movement is coming from your waist. So exhale back to the center. Inhale over. Now, if you wanted to increase the load of your legs, when you come to me on the next one, straighten the legs. And then pull straight legs back to the center and bend. Now go away from me. Reach both legs away. Pull back to the center and bend. Fantastic. One more in each direction. Over, straighten, center, and bend. Last one. Over, straighten, center, and bend. All right, hug your knees in. So when we come into this next move, tuck your chin in and curl up to find your balance, bringing your heels together and your knees apart. The seal, it's a traditional move. It's actually easier than rolling like a ball. So take your hands underneath. I'll just turn so you can see me. So I'm holding like that. So it's a bit easier because you've got your legs away from you. The work bud is to control your taps here and then your taps when you're back. So from here, get that nice scoop, everybody. Drop your shoulders down. You tap 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to roll back to your shoulders, not your head and neck, and tap when you're on your shoulders. So roll back and pause and tap 1, 2, 3. Roll back up and tap 1, 2, 3. So if you go too fast and far, you won't have the control. So pause at your shoulders and tap. Keep your thighs away from your tummy so you're in a scoop shape still. Do 3 more like that. So that's it. Good. And tap. Don't go too far. You got to only, when you go back, it's just that the movement is very small because you've got to pause there and tap. And then there. So you can't use momentum to help you with this one. That's a fun one to work on. So on this next movement here, cross your legs. If you can, come up to standing without holding on. If not, come up however you can. And then stand up. Facing your mat, we're going to do our roll down into our traditional push-ups to finish the class off. So with your legs together, arms come up towards the ceiling. So when I roll down, remember the difference with the hinge and a roll. So a hinge would be like that, which we're not doing. Imagine if you have a wall behind you, you actually roll. See, I'm coming up and over, more like a cat stretch. So rolling up and over. At no time my spine straightens. Once my hands find the ground, I walk my hands along the mat 3.5 steps. 1 without going side to side. 2, 3, and then a little half. Now that puts you into a plank position. Drop to your knees if you need the assistance there. With the hands directly underneath the shoulders and our heels still together. That looks great. You can either hold a plank, drop to your knees, or stay up and do 6 traditional push-ups. So elbows by your side as you lower your chest and then lift back up. So you've got the 3 options there: a plank, a full push-up, or on your knees. It's an exhale to push the chest away from the ground, just doing 2 more. Now, after that last one, wherever you are, come back to plank. Pike your hips up. Now press your heels to the ground and stretch out through your ankles and the back of your legs. Press your chest towards your thighs. Take a breath in here. Now walk your hands to your feet 3.5 steps. 1, 2, 3, and a little bit, and drop the head down. So just hanging here for a moment, close the eyes, take a breath in and a big breath out. Let go of any tension through the face, any tension through the neck or shoulders. And slowly in a round spine, which means scoop the tummy away from your thighs, start to roll up to a standing position. Rolling up, rolling up. Now take your arms overhead and continue to a balance. So lift your heels. Now, the last roll down you can try with your heels together and lifted, or you can place your heels down and we just do 1 roll down. Heels up is pretty shaky. You're going to have to use a lot of stability, a lot of control. Drop the head, let the shoulders hang, and then roll back up. Rolling up, scooping and rolling, coming all the way up. Rise up. Now lift up, find length in your spine. Good. Reach up, everybody, to soften the shoulders. Now lower your hands. Lowering your heels and spending a moment here, finding that elongation through the spine, like a string from the ceiling, lifting you up. Breathing in to lift the arms up. And then breathing out to finish. And just roll the shoulders. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today in this Pilates class. You guys were so good. We're going to unmute you.